Hey guys, it's Catch here again. I had a few people ask me on how to craft the chest, the bow, the helmet, and the quiver. For the quiver, to be completely honest, just buy something with decent suffixes. Bow attacks, fire, additional arrow, crit multi if possible, maybe attack speed. I wouldn't really recommend trying to craft one yourself. It'll be quite expensive. If you do want to craft it yourself, there are a lot of guides on how to craft a good quiver. But I think we'll start with the chest because this one is probably the easiest to do. So basically what you want to do is start with a eye level 85 astral plate. And you want one with hunter influence, or you can buy a hunter exalted orb and slam it, but you can probably buy one with the influence for reasonably cheap. Once you have this, all you do is spam reforge attack in your harvest bench until you get T1 attack crit as well as another influence mod. So this normally doesn't take too long. Let's see here. Surely we'll get something. Maybe it'll take longer than I thought. Oh, here. Okay, so we've got T1 attack crit, we've got T1 physical damage taken as chaos, and then with this you will use a orb of domination and elevate the chaos. Or sorry, elevate the crit chance. If you're going for a more budget version, I think dominations at the time of this video are about 1.3 divines. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're going to keep missing, then you know it can add up quite a lot. But I would recommend, this is an easy DPS boost by getting that elevated. Elevate this first. Then what we'll do is you will get a chest plate that has a shaper mod as well as item rarity. So the easiest way is you can look this up by going body, armor, item rarity. I believe that's the right one. Yep. And then you want to go at least level 15 because that's T1. And then you just look for another mod, or sorry, another shaper mod on the item. This armor doesn't matter which base it is because you're going to be getting rid of this base anyways. So just find another one of them with 2 shaper mods. Let's see if we can find one here. Physical damage taken as lightning, and then the item rarity. So you want to make sure that it only has 2 shaper mods, not any more. You can do that by hovering over each mod and seeing. This one will show that it's 2, but that's just because this rarity is part of this rarity here. So this one would work perfectly. And then you do the same thing as before. You take an orb of domination, elevate it, and you get level 20 item rarity. And then what you want to do is awaken orb these together. So you buy an awakener's orb, you'll click on the bad base first, and then you'll click on the base that you want after, and then you'll use the awakener's orb on it. I don't know if it's going to let me do this. To get the item to be destroyed's data. Oh, use the export function. Let me try that. Not this would have. Oh, export. There we go. Generate export data. And then it slammed it together. So we actually got pretty lucky here because we have an open suffix. Most of the time you'll get a crappy suffix like life regen like me. Luckily for me though, I'm using combs, so that gives me more rage per second. But if this happens and you have an open suffix, you can craft on suffixes cannot be changed. And then if you look at the mods here for a body armor with strength, or it doesn't really matter what it has. For suffixes, we have not really anything good. We got int, energy shield on kill, and then on the hunter, we've got effective offerings and spell crit chance. So there's not really anything that we could put on here that's forcible. Say you need something like chaos res. what you can do is a Reforged Chaos. Keep in mind though, this could possibly get you something like physical damage taken as chaos, but we'll try going for it anyway here. Yeah, see, so it did physical as chaos, but we got T1 physical damage reduction. So basically you want to fill this in because you really don't have much. You want to craft on the prefix rather than on the suffix. So once this is done, we want to craft suffix cannot be changed again. Keep in mind you can use the wild bristle matrons that you get from harvest, and use this harvest craft here, or sorry, not harvest, beast craft. And that's the Adam crafted meta modifier to a non-unique item called the Wild Bristle Matron, and that will add on suffixes cannot be changed for you. So once you have suffixes cannot be changed, all you have to do is reforge caster, and this will force on you can apply additional curse because there are no other caster mods. This is also why you want to fill in the suffixes first, because if you don't, you could actually get the spell crit on the suffix, which is not what you want. So you reforge caster, you get the, you can apply additional curse, use a bristle matron again for suffixes cannot be changed, and then you go and do an ashling veil. We hit it the first time, unveil, and you can unveil. Ideally, this is what you would get, is increased maximum life, increased maximum mana. You could do avoid ailments, but I don't think you're going to be getting 100% ailment avoidance, and you're also going to be running purity of elements, so you're already ailment capped. So I would try to get this. If you get anything else, it's not a huge deal, and then you go ahead and craft on maximum life. And that's it. That's how you make the chest. This one actually got really lucky with the physical damage reduction, but yeah, like I said, you can try to reforge chaos, reforge anything if you need some sort of res, and then you're good to go there. So that's for the chest. It's quite simple. You can do this on a lot tighter budget by not going elevated, but realistically you're saving, you know, 3-6 divine depending on how unlucky you are with the awakener's orbs. And then the bristle matrons are normally about a div each, so you know, 1 to do the additional curse, second one to do the ashling, that's only about 2 div. So yeah, this is a pretty cheap chest. It's not too bad to craft. You can craft it on an astral plate. I like to do that for a bunch of armor, but you can also use an evasion based armor as well. Okay, so with that one out of the way, now we have the bow. If this is for a lower budget bow, obviously you're not going to be crafting my bow that I have. I'm not even going to be crafting this because this costs multiple tens of mirrors to make. But if you want to do something yourself, the first thing you want to do is buy a bow with both attacks fire 2 additional arrows or 1 additional arrow if you're on a budget. 1 additional arrow is only about a divine. It's super cheap, but if you look at 2 additional arrows, it's about 26, 27. So it's a little bit more expensive. This is a lot harder to craft than the other one. Honestly, I probably should have made just a complete second video for this, but that is okay. What you will want to do is start with a rare item. And where are essences? I'm blind. So you want to use Essence of Contempt T1. Again, these are quite expensive, and this is why I say to people that probably just buying a bow that's made already is a better idea. Because if you looked at Essence of Contempt T1, you're looking at about, what, 19 per divine, generally speaking. And it can be quite hard to hit a reasonable level of hybrid fizz. So if you look here, essences, you obviously can use a lower level essence and it's going to be a lot cheaper. So something like 1 tier down, you get like, you know, quite a bit more, 67, but there's not a lot for sale because people normally bring them up to the highest one anyway. But that essence is, let's see, that essence is only going to be, you know, not a whole lot less flat. But if you're on a budget, that's definitely what I would recommend, is just going for the T2 essence instead of T1. So what we're wanting to do is spam until we hit a reasonably high level of hybrid. So just to hit, say, even tier 4 hybrid, you're looking at about 100 essences, and that's at a 200 weight. If you're going for T3 even, you're at 213, tier 2 you're at 496, and T1 it's 1500 essences on average. So definitely would recommend, if you're going to do this, if you're on a budget, first of all, look for a bow that might be cheap, because you could get one for cheap and not have to do this at all. If you're looking at a bow, if we go like this, and then we just put in, say, like 550 physical DPS, you know, you can get a decent bow for 20 div. It might cost you this much to craft one anyway. But this one kind of sucks because, oh, actually it has T1 attack speed, so this one's not too bad at all. But yeah, just look into it because it might be cheaper for you to craft that. Anyways, what I'll do here is I will just go, pretend we spammed an essence of Contempt T1, and let's say these mods weren't here. Oh, that's the other thing. If the prefixes are full, you have to annul too. And then let's just say we hit T4. Say we hit T4 hybrid. It has to be hybrid. If it's not hybrid, then you have to use augment fizz, and it's just way more expensive. So you want a hybrid roll here. Say we hit T4. Now what you'll do is craft on prefixes cannot be changed. And you can either Veiled Chaos Orb or Ashling. I would recommend Ashling due to Veiled Chaos Orb being able to brick. If we do this, we were lucky here, we got a Veiled prefix, but there will be times like this that will happen where you'll get a suffix, fill in the prefix, and then it bricks the bow. So you have to either annul or redo it. So definitely, I would say to use an Ashling. So even here, this is a brick because we have full suffixes. But for time's sake, what I'll do is I'll just remove these. Pretend we did an Ashling and got a Veiled prefix. You're going to go in here and unveil increased physical damage. There's a very, very high chance that you'll get any % of increased fizz. And now we have at 20% quality only, we have a, I don't know if we can edit this, no. We have a 540 DPS bow. The PDPS will probably be a bit higher than that. But yeah, that's about it for the prefixes. And then for the suffixes, it really depends on how much you want to risk. You can do Reforge speed or Aug speed. I would honestly recommend, since this is a cheaper bow, Reforge speed, because Aug speed costs you, what is it? Speed 20,000 yellow, which is 4 divines right now, and a white, which is like 0.5, I think. So yeah, you got 4.5 divs every time you do an Aug. You have the 50% chance to hit projectile speed. I think it's 50-50. It might be even worse. 5,000 versus 4,000. So you actually have a, what is that? 1 in 4.5-ish chance to hit attack speed. So you do that until you have a decent attack speed that you want. Again, if you are reforging like I am right now, you do have a chance to brick. I don't know why. I did 20 of these and it didn't brick when I made my bow before. So maybe it isn't possible to brick. I have no idea because we haven't hit, oh, as I'm speaking. So yeah, you definitely can brick. I think it's a little bit lower chance since we already have a suffix here, but it is possible. So just keep that in mind. And then once you have your attack speed on here, you can go ahead and craft on critical strike chance with strength and int. Because you're lacking in both strength and int, this is probably the best craft you can get. And you are done. That's how you make a, 650 something or something PDPS bow. That's the first option. There is one more option which includes fossil crafting, and basically all you do is you spam, which fossil is it here? Is it corroded? Let's see. Jagged, sorry. Jagged and Sanctified. And you can spam that until you get 2 decent flat and physical prefixes. And that can be a way to hit it as well. And it is a little bit cheaper, but you have a lower chance of hitting it. So just keep that in mind. As I said, for the quiver, I would definitely recommend just buying one. And then for the helmet, this one is quite easy as well. All you do is buy Essence of Loathing and then keep spamming until you get decent suffixes. So for me, since I'm running Comb Spirit right now and life regen gives me rage, all I did was spam until I had life regen, and I just happened to hit on my essence every single mod that I wanted, which was life regen, chaos res. That's not 0.4, but whatever. Chaos res, I got T1 life and T1 rarity. So I was super lucky on this essence. I literally did nothing except for use an essence on this. But one thing that I did note is going for a higher level of reduced mana cost of attacks on the implicits rather than higher reduced mana reservation results in a much lower cost tornado shot. So when my flasks are up, I'm looking at 14 mana versus and actually I don't even have inspiration on because my mana cost was so low. So when my flask is up, I don't believe I have any cost. It's 2 mana cost. So if you are lacking on mana, definitely trying to get Searing Exarch higher first with the reduced mana cost, and then getting the mana reservation on after will make a lot more sense because of how much this skill costs normally to cast. But yeah, that's about it for the items. You know, we've got the bow, the chest, the helmet, and the quiver. The quiver, again, I would just recommend buying something. Don't go for this quiver that I have right now because mine is a very specific setup, which is full cold convert. And if you're looking into doing that, it's going to be a lot more expensive than if you're going Trinity, which I have in the low budget guide. Anyways, that's about it for crafting all the MF gear that I have here. If you have any questions, you can join my Discord and ask me there, and just ping me. I answer most of the time, or join my Twitch stream and you can just ask me there. I'm live almost every single day. Have a good one.